Welcome to my channel, friends. Imagine moving to a new city, speaking a new language, and learning every day with the excitement of making new friends and facing new challenges. In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple yet powerful story of learning English in one of the most vibrant cities in the world, London. Whether you're just starting to learn English or want to improve, this journey will give you tips, tricks, and motivation. Stick around until the end because I have a special bonus tip that will change the way you learn forever. Let's get started. Chapter 1. My first encounter with English in London. I arrive in London on a bright and sunny day, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Everything is new. The tall buildings, the busy streets, the people speaking a language I want to learn but don't fully understand yet. I'm Ariel, and I'm here to study English. My goal is simple: to improve my English skills and become confident in speaking. But that's easier said than done, right? I board a train to my new home, looking around at the other passengers. It's not just a ride, it's a chance to experience the English language in real life. I notice two women sitting opposite me. They are talking to each other, laughing, and exchanging stories. I can't understand everything they say, but I try to catch a few words here and there. Their English sounds so fast, and I only know a few words. It's overwhelming, but I try not to feel discouraged. This is part of the journey. I gather all my courage and decide to speak. I start with simple English words, the ones I know. "Hello," I say with a smile. The women look at me. They smile back. One of them replies, "Hello. How are you?" I feel nervous but also excited. I reply, "I'm fine, thank you." We begin to talk, even though my English is far from perfect. I tell them I am new to London and that I am learning English. They seem to understand. I'm happy. I can communicate, even if it's just a few words. The women tell me they are from England, and they were at a conference. They speak slowly to help me understand, and I try my best to respond. The train ride is short, but our conversation lasts about 10 minutes. When it's time for me to get off, I say goodbye to the women. Before I leave, they give me their contact information. "If you ever come to England," one of them says, "you can visit us." I'm surprised but grateful. It's a nice gesture that shows me how welcoming people can be. This brief encounter on the train is a turning point for me. I realize that even though my English is basic, it's enough to make connections and start conversations. I'm inspired. After this meeting, I promise myself that I will work harder on my English. I will practice every day, reading, listening, speaking. Slowly but surely, I will get better. The experience teaches me something important. Real-life interactions are key to learning any language. It's not just about memorizing words from a textbook. It's about using the language in everyday situations. This encounter is just the beginning of my journey in London, and I'm more determined than ever to improve my English skills. Chapter 2. How to Learn Words. The next day at school, I'm excited for my English lesson. The teacher is a young woman who is kind and patient. She always seems to have the perfect advice for us, no matter what questions we ask. Today, One of the students raises a hand and asks a question I've been thinking about too. What is the best way to learn new words in English? The teacher smiles and says, "That's a great question. There are many ways to learn new words, but the most effective method is reading." My ears perk up. Reading? I thought learning new words meant memorizing lists and studying vocabulary cards. But the teacher continues, "When you read, you learn new words naturally. Studies show that people who read regularly learn words twice as fast as those who don't." This sounds exciting. I've always loved stories, so I'm already thinking about how reading can help me. The teacher goes on, "You don't need to memorize every new word you see. The important thing is to enjoy what you're reading and understand the general meaning of the text. If you come across a word you don't know, look it up in the dictionary. But don't stress about memorizing it. Just keep reading and let the words stick in your mind naturally." I think about my own experience on the train with the two women. I didn't know all the words, but I understood enough to have a conversation. The teacher's advice makes sense. If I keep reading, I will start to pick up new words without even trying so hard. She adds another important point. Pick books or articles that interest you. If you don't enjoy the reading material, it's much harder to stay motivated. The best way to learn is by choosing texts that you like, whether it's a novel, a magazine, or even something related to your hobbies or job. I'm already thinking about the types of books I enjoy. I love adventure stories and novels about travel. I'm going to start reading books like that in English. The teacher then suggests, try to read for at least 30 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be a long time, but if you do it every day, you will see progress. I feel motivated. Just 30 minutes a day doesn't sound too difficult, and I'm sure I can find time for that. I take her advice to heart. The next day, I head to the school library and choose a simple English book. It's an adventure story with easy language, and I can already tell I'm going to enjoy it. As I read, I come across a few words I don't understand. I take out my dictionary, look up the words, and continue reading. It's not hard, and I find myself enjoying the story more and more. I don't focus on remembering every word. I focus on understanding the story and having fun with it. As the days pass, I keep reading for at least 30 minutes every day. Slowly, I notice something amazing happening. I start to understand more and more words. At first, I had to look up a lot of words, but now I only need to check a few. The new words start to feel familiar, and I begin using them in my conversations, just like the words I've known for a long time. One day, after reading a chapter of my book, I realized that I don't need to look up as many words anymore. I'm picking them up naturally, and I feel proud of my progress. I start to realize that the key to learning new words isn't stressing about memorization or flashcards. It's about enjoying the process of reading, understanding the context, and letting the words stick with me. It feels great to see how far I've come. I remember how difficult it was at first, when every new word seemed like a challenge. But now, reading has become one of my favorite parts of learning English. I'm not just improving my vocabulary, I'm enjoying the language itself. From then on, I make it a habit to read every day. I know that by doing this, I will continue to expand my vocabulary and become more comfortable using English in my daily life. And the best part is that I don't have to memorize anything, just read, enjoy, and learn. Chapter 3: How to Learn Pronunciation. It's Wednesday, and I'm excited to go back to school. But today's lesson is different. During class, one of the students, a quiet guy from South Korea, raises his hand. He looks a bit nervous as he asks, "I know my English pronunciation isn't very good. I try, but when I speak, I feel like I don't sound like a native speaker. How can I improve my pronunciation?" The teacher nods understandingly. "That's a very common problem," she says. "Many students feel the same way. Pronunciation can be tricky, especially because we all use different muscles in our mouths when we speak." She explains that in our native language, we use certain muscles and movements to form sounds. But when we speak a new language like English, we often use different muscles, and that's why our pronunciation can sound different. I think about how I've sometimes struggled with pronouncing certain words in English, like th or v. They just don't feel natural to me. But hearing the teacher talk about this makes me feel better. I realize that pronunciation isn't something that has to be perfect right away. It's something I can work on with time and practice. The teacher continues, "But don't worry. I'm going to teach you a great technique that will help you improve your pronunciation. It's called shadowing." My curiosity is piqued, and I lean in to listen closely. Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, like a shadow following them. The idea is to copy their pronunciation as closely as possible. This sounds interesting. I've never heard of this method before. The teacher adds, "When children learn their first language, they don't think about pronunciation. They simply copy what they hear from their parents or others. Shadowing helps you do the same thing with English." She then explains exactly how to do it. Find a video or audio of native speakers speaking clearly and at a normal pace. Listen to what they say, and as soon as you hear it, repeat the exact words, copying their tone and pronunciation. She demonstrates with a short sentence, repeating it right after the speaker. This will help you get the muscles in your mouth used to the sounds of English, she says. After the explanation, she plays a short video of a native English speaker saying simple sentences. We all follow along, repeating after the speaker, trying to match the exact sounds. At first it feels a little awkward, but I notice how much easier it is to say the words when I copy the speaker directly. It's like my mouth starts to move in the same way as theirs. The teacher encourages us. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The goal is to practice the sounds, not to be perfect right away. You'll see improvement with regular practice. She suggests we spend at least 10 minutes a day shadowing. The more you do it, the better your pronunciation will get. I leave class feeling motivated. That evening, I try shadowing on my own. I find a simple English video online, and I repeat what the speaker says, just like I did in class. It feels strange at first, but after a few minutes, I start to notice something amazing. My mouth is moving more easily, and I feel more confident when I speak. The next day at school, I can already tell that my pronunciation has improved a little. I don't sound perfect yet, but I feel more comfortable saying English words. I also noticed that the sounds don't feel as strange anymore. It's as if my mouth is getting used to the new movements. I see the student from South Korea practicing shadowing too. He looks more confident as he repeats after the teacher. He tells me, "It's working for me." I feel like I'm getting better at speaking. I'm glad to see him making progress, and I'm excited to keep practicing myself. As I continue shadowing, I can feel the difference in my pronunciation. I'm no longer afraid to speak because I know I'm getting better. I practice with different videos, focusing on different sounds, and I start to recognize how native speakers change their tones and rhythms. It's amazing how much this small change, just listening and repeating, can help me with my pronunciation. Every day, I'm gaining more confidence to speak in English, and the fear of making mistakes is fading away. I realize that the key to improving pronunciation is practice. The more I listen, the better I become at mimicking the sounds of the language. Chapter 4: How to Learn Grammar. On Thursday, I go to my new job at the cafe again. It is only my third day, but I already feel better. I can make coffee and tea. I can clean the tables. I can also speak a little with the customers. Sometimes I make mistakes when I speak, but most people understand me. Today, one man asks me, "Have you been working here long?" I want to answer him, but I stop. I don't understand the question completely. I know the words, but the grammar feels strange. Have you been... I've heard this before, but I don't know how to use it. I smile and say, "Sorry, my English is not perfect yet." The man laughs and says, "No problem." He is very friendly. But I keep thinking about the question. I want to understand it. I want to be able to use grammar like this. The next day at school, I still think about grammar. During the lesson, one student asks a question that is perfect for me. She says, "How can I learn grammar better?" I often don't know if my sentences are correct. Our teacher smiles. "Thank you. That is a good question. Let me explain. There are two kinds of students. One group wants to speak English. The other group wants to pass English exams. Each group needs a different way to learn grammar." She looks around the class. If you want to speak English well, you do not need to study grammar very much. When you were a child, you learned your first language without grammar books. You listened, you spoke, and you learned. You can do the same with English. This makes me feel better. I don't like grammar books. I don't like learning rules. It is hard and confusing. The teacher continues, "The best way to learn grammar naturally is by reading and listening. When you read books, you see correct grammar all the time. When you listen to English, like in podcasts or videos, you also hear correct grammar. Your brain starts to understand how grammar works. You don't have to study rules. You learn grammar by using English." She gives an example. If you read every day, you will see how people use past tense, future tense, and present perfect. You will not even know the names of the tenses, but you will feel what sounds right. That is how you learn grammar naturally. Then she talks about the second group of students. If you need to pass an exam, then it is different. Exams often test grammar rules directly. You need to know names of tenses and how to form them. In this case, you need to study grammar step by step. I recommend using websites with clear grammar explanations and practice exercises. She writes a website on the board, www.grammerinlevels.com. This is a good place to start, she says. You can find short rules and simple examples. It is perfect for beginners. I understand now. I don't need to worry too much about grammar rules. I want to speak English, not pass a test. So I will read more. I will listen more. I will learn grammar the natural way. Later that day, I remember the man in the cafe. I understand now that he used the present perfect continuous tense. Have you been working here long? Now, I know what it means. He was asking if I started the job recently or a long time ago. This feels like progress. I didn't study a grammar book. I just listened and remembered the sentence. Then I heard the explanation in class, and it made sense. From that moment, I start to notice grammar everywhere. I hear people say things like, I have just finished my coffee, or she has lived in London for 5 years. I don't know the rules perfectly, but I understand the meaning. I learn through examples, not by memorizing. Every time I read or listen to English, I pay attention to how sentences are made. I look at how the words are put together. I begin to see patterns. I don't worry about making mistakes. I just keep using the language. I speak, I read, I listen, and slowly my grammar gets better. I feel it. I know when something sounds right or wrong, even if I don't know why. When you want to speak English naturally, you don't need to study all the grammar rules. You can learn grammar in context. You can read stories. You can listen to people. You can repeat what they say. Your brain will do the rest. Chapter 5. Getting over the fear of speaking English. It is Monday again. A new week starts. I go to work in the morning. I like my job now. I understand what I need to do. I can make coffee, serve food, and clean the tables. But there is one thing that is still difficult for me. I feel nervous when I have to speak English with new people. I always think, what if I say something wrong? What if they laugh? What if they don't understand me? At work, I try to speak only when I need to. I say hello and thank you. I take the orders. I smile. But I don't speak much more than that. I listen to my coworkers talk. They laugh, they tell stories, and they speak fast. I want to join the conversation, but I'm afraid. At school, our teacher talks about this. She says, many students feel scared to speak English. They think they must speak perfectly. But that is not true. You don't need to speak perfectly.